Hi and welcome to episode 90 of the This is Reportage podcast. My name is Alan Law. I'm the founder of This Reportage and This Reportage family, and I'm a photographer too. Excited to be talking to the fab Mihai Zaharia today. Mihai was ranked 7th in Romania on This Reportage for 2020 with 2 Reportage Awards and a Story Award, and we talk about one of those awards today, an image that whenever I see Mihai's name I always think of actually, and many more things, including turning your passions into businesses, an image that had a lasting impact on him, experimenting and doing things differently, a Netflix game, shooting close, what makes a good documentary wedding photographer, and much more. Hey Mihai, how are you doing?
Hi Alan, fine, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm good as well. Thank you. Very good. Although it's pouring down with rain here in Cornwall at the moment. How about with you? Because you're in Romania, aren't you?
Yes, I'm in Romania, Bucharest. We have a great day today. It's not sunny, it's cloudy, but after 3 days with pouring rain also and chaotic traffic and everything, now we're good.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I've never been to Romania. I'd love to go. A country I'd love to go to. Have you ever?
Beautiful country.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And you have so many great wedding photographers in Romania as well.
Yes, we do. Yes, I'm not one of them, but
yes, you are. Of course you are. Of course you are. Have you ever been over to England?
Yes, I've been to London once.
Ah, cool. Yeah. Did you like it?
Actually, it was, I liked it a lot. I want to go back. It was right before the lockdown last year.
Oh, really? Was it? Oh, wow.
February, yes, 3 weeks before everything went, the lockdown, yes, here.
Yeah. What, did you come over for a wedding or for a holiday?
No. It was for leisure, no.
Okay, cool.
Just traveling.
I like to visit London. I like to leave London afterwards as well. No offense to any Londoners listening. It's just so much busier than where I live. I live in Cornwall, which is the very southwest of England, so it's like the opposite of London, really. Is it busy where you live? Are you near?
Yes.
Yeah, are you?
Bucharest is a really busy city, and like I said, when it rains, it's better to not use the car because everyone uses their car as an umbrella.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And people that don't usually drive go into traffic, and it becomes a real problem. But even if it doesn't rain, it's still better to not use the car if you can. I'm fortunate to work from home all the time, so I have my office in my bedroom, so that's convenient for me.
That is good, isn't it? That's a great thing about what we do as photographers, really, is that we can work really from anywhere, which is great.
Yes, we have the flexibility.
But I get that about people using cars as umbrellas, because just on the school run, picking up my kids from school, if it's a rainy day, the roads right around the school are a nightmare because everyone's doing that. So I get that.
So it's a universal thing.
It is universal. Yeah. Mihai, you mentioned just then about you visited London just before kind of the beginning of COVID and lockdown. So I might as well ask you how was 2020 for you? How personally and business wise, how is it? How was it?
Business wise, it wasn't that good, but on a personal level, to be quite honest, it was a good year for me.
Oh, that's
because
great.
when the lockdown came and all the weddings and the events stopped, I was quite happy. Not financially, because it meant, of course, that there won't be any events, there won't be any money, but it was a good pause for me, to detach a little bit from all the photography thing, from all the weddings thing, and to try and discover new passions. And as a matter of fact, I did exactly that.
Oh, great! What?
Well, it's an interesting story actually.
Oh, tell us. Good. I like stories. Good. Go.
One thing that you probably don't know about me is that I have a formal education in visual arts. You know,
Oh, okay. Wow. Cool.
drawing, painting, and sorry.
It's okay.
I studied visual arts in I believe it's called secondary school.
Okay. Right.
5th grade to 12th grade. I was in the art school.
Yeah, cool.
So, and I was supposed to finish high school, and go to the University of Arts because, follow a career like this. But in the last year, I decided that I don't have the call. I'm not talented enough. So I chose not to follow this path.
Mm-hmm.
So the year was 1996, and I decided to stop drawing, to stop painting, to stop everything related to arts. And it was in 2020, during lockdown, when I rediscovered this passion.
Oh, that's cool.
And I started drawing again, and now I call myself an illustrator. I even have a brand.
Oh wow, really? Oh, I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm Mihai the illustration guy. You can find me on Instagram and yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was good.
That is a great side effect, isn't it, of the pandemic, to rediscover something like that may not have happened because you would have been so busy all the rest of your time.
Yes, it's true. It's true. And yeah.
And now it's a side arm of, is it also like a semi-business now as well?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I even want to, move more to this side of business in time.
Cool.
And when it's time to quit doing wedding photography, I want to focus more on the artistic side.
That's great, man. Oh, that's really cool. What kind of things do you illustrate then? What kind of things?
Well, if you will, I moved from photographing, beautiful young women to drawing ugly old men.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. I mean, if I am to draw something just for myself, I find it more interesting to draw interesting faces.
Right.
And, I especially like drawing old people with beards and wrinkles and.
You should draw me then, ugly old man. I'm old man. Yeah, you draw me.
I'm sure you're not ugly and even not that old. Maybe
I'm both.
10 years or something.
Oh, that's really cool. And I think I know for me as well, just the importance of diversification is something that the pandemic taught me as well. So you've got another income stream as well, which is important. So that's great.
Yes, and even more than an income source, a source of purpose.
That's far more important.
Yeah, something that you enjoy doing, and something like that.
Oh, well, that's awesome. I know you've turned two things that you enjoy doing into. Also, I know I'm not obsessed about business and money, and obviously happiness and doing something you love is far more important. But it's just interesting that a lot of people throughout their lives don't have, their hobby does never make them any money, or their passions. But now you've got two things that you're passionate about, which also does pay the bills as well. So that's really great. It is great.
Yeah, it is.
Mihai, I wanted to ask you about something. A while ago, you wrote a great piece for us on TIR about an image that had a lasting impact on you.
Oh, yes, I remember. It was
Yes.
a photo that I took on my very first wedding as a
Yes,
paid
I was going to say that
photographer.
your first main wedding as a paid photographer, and it had like about 400 guests, didn't it? I think it was quite a big deal. But I just want to say, I thought it was a really inspiring piece, as you talk about
Ooh.
experimenting and doing things differently, even if you're not sure of the outcome. So, yeah, I just wondered if you could tell us more about that, for people who perhaps haven't read it, if you could, tell us about that.
Yeah, so the backstory of the photo of my experience.
Yes, that'd be great. Yeah.
So it was in my first year as a wedding photographer. I just started out. I built a portfolio and wanted to book weddings, basically. And they were the first couple who booked me. It was, I believe, through Google Ads or something like that, because I didn't have any referrals yet.
So, I get that. That's how I got my first business as well, through AdWords.
So I went to this really big wedding, which was in a different city. It was in Craiova, actually. And I never got to meet the bride before the wedding. Only the groom. I spoke with him for about 20 minutes, maybe, when we signed the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a different city with people that I've never met before. And it turned out to be a really, really big wedding. And it was my first wedding as a main and the only photographer.
That's scary. Did you say it was about 400 guests or so?
Yes, about 400 guests. And during the party, they had all kinds of bands and artists, singers. Some of them even famous.
Oh, wow.
So it was an expensive wedding. It was an expensive wedding and a large wedding, and a wedding that if I was to shoot today, I would be really stressed. But then maybe I was, maybe I wasn't that, what's the word? I wasn't aware of the responsibility that was on my shoulders, maybe.
That can be a benefit, can't it, I guess, when you're starting out, maybe.
Yes, totally.
That's true.
So during one of the artistic moments, I decided to, I did the safe shots with the dancers who were clearly visible and things like that. And I decided to experiment more with longer exposures. And one of the images that I ended up keeping, because I shot a lot of photos that ended in the trash bin, of course.
That's like every wedding for me, every wedding.
Yeah, it's true. So one of them I really liked and kept, and it's a long exposure shot with the two dancers that are not at all in focus. It's with the motion blur, and of course at that time I didn't even know I can use a flash to freeze the action. On these types of shots. It was an experiment that I conducted then for the very first time. It was the first time when I tried this ever, not at a wedding or...
That's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm happy that I got that one image.
Very cool. And just that whole ethos of experimenting and trying something, even though you'd not tried it before. I mean, that's how we improve. That's how we get the great images. That's how we keep it exciting, I think, for
That's true.
ourselves as well. And it's a great image. It's such a great sense of motion. But it's hearing that story behind it and why it had an impact on you, I think is great. And do you still feel like that now? You know, when you approach a wedding, do you still like to experiment and try new things?
Yes, of course, knowing that you are paid to be their photographer, you always feel that you have to deliver, the safe shots. But once you've got the safe shots, you are free to experiment as much as you want, I guess.
That's true. Yeah. Do you work?
It's what brings us joy, or it should be what makes us want to continue shooting weddings.
I agree totally. If we were doing the exact same thing week in, week out and not pushing ourselves, then we would lose. Well, I know I would. I would start to lose interest with it. And
Yes.
yeah, so it's really important.
Lose passion, and it would be really boring.
Definitely. Now, thank you for talking about that and for writing the piece. It's great. If anyone's listening now, I'll include a link through to that article that Mihai wrote, and it includes the image as well. So yeah, very, very cool. And you know, talking about experimenting, just while we're on that subject, do you for your weddings, do you always shoot with a second shooter? Do you sometimes shoot with your wife? She shoots as well?
Yes, we are a husband and wife team, but we don't market ourselves as such.
Right.
Even the brand is Mihai Zaharia Photography, so it's my name. But yeah, sometimes we shoot. It's both of us.
You sometimes do separate weddings as well, so you're both shooting on a weekend?
If we are to do a wedding with one shooter, it's always me.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So if you will, I'm the main shooter, and I wouldn't call her second shooter. She's the second main shooter, if you want.
Oh, I get that. I get that. Does that help having the two of you? I mean, because I only ever shoot on my own, only ever solo. But I guess it must help having two of you, so one can do those safe shots and the other one can experiment more.
Yeah, we don't usually approach it this way. I mean, when we shoot together, each of us is free to do whatever we want.
That's cool. Okay, that's great.
And we shoot as if we are the only shooter there. So we don't split. I'm taking the safe shots and you take the creative shots, or vice versa.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good way. That's a good way.
And it happens. It happens that sometimes after, I don't know, something happened, I go to her and say, "Oh, I did this creative shot. I hope you got the safe shots." And she's like, "No, I thought you were taking the safe shot." Yeah.
That's funny. Well, that's great. Fun. The couple get lots of great creative shots, though. That's great.
Yes.
Do you ever argue at all? I can't imagine. My wife is amazing. I love my wife, but I can't imagine working with her for a whole day. I don't know. Yeah. Do you ever argue?
Well, of course we do. Who doesn't?
Yeah. Sure.
Every couple argues. We argue about. Regarding photography. Sometimes we argue about whose photos are worse, you know? Yeah. Because I say mine, she says, no, mine.
Oh, that's nice.
Things like that.
Yeah.
No, but we started working together just because it was a way for us to be together.
Oh, that's really
have
nice.
More time together, because otherwise during weekends I was gone, shooting weddings, and she was alone at home, and Actually, we have a funny story here too, because I was in my second year. I started this photography business myself, and she wasn't a photographer back then. It was in 2011 I started this business, and she joined later on. And she said, well, you go to weddings all the time. I want to come with you and assist you, just be there with you. We spend some time together, and that's fine. And I said, okay, come with me. I even gave her a camera, if you're here, why not take the chance and take some photos? Shoot whatever you want, whatever you like. And I was really amazed at the photos that she was able to take. Sorry.
Oh, that's cool.
But she was she wasn't sure about the technical side, of the photography. And she always say, when we moved from one location to another, she would say, adjust my settings, because we shoot only manual. So I had to set the aperture, ISO, shutter time, and things like that. The flash, if it was necessary. And she was afraid to learn those things. And I would always say, well, it's pretty easy. It's 3 things you have to know about. It's shutter, ISO, and the aperture. And she was, no, I don't want to know those things. I just want to take photos, and that's it. And during that second year in business, it was towards the end of the season, I got sick. Actually, not sick. I had to have an appendicitis operation.
Oh, awful.
Yeah, it hit me on Friday, and on Saturday I had a wedding scheduled.
Nightmare.
I was supposed to be their photographer, and I was in the hospital. So I had to give that wedding, of course. I sent another photographer.
Sure.
But in the next weekends, I had a couple more weddings scheduled. So I told her, look, now is the time to decide. You want us to give those weddings to other photographers, or you want to be the main photographer and I'll be there just to assist you? Because I was right after the surgical operation, it's called, I believe. Yeah, I wasn't able to move that much. I wasn't allowed to carry anything heavy. I had to sit down all the time.
Right.
So that's how she became a photographer, a pro photographer.
She stepped up and took the main role, and because you had appendicitis. I wonder if you hadn't have had it. Yeah, I wonder if things would have been different if you hadn't have had it. It's interesting, that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. How life gives you, what you need when you need it, maybe.
That's funny. That's funny. That is a cool story about the origins of you working together.
Yes.
That's cool. And just how you said, though, about just wanting to spend more time with each other, and that's a big reason why you work together. I think that's really lovely. That's really nice. Yeah,
it's true. That was the main reason.
Oh, that's really nice, man. And a really interesting story. This is cool. I really enjoyed this. This is fun. Shall we change? Let's change tack, though, slightly, Mihai. Let's change tack. Okay, cool. Do you watch many movies or Netflix or other streaming TV?
Not so many. I do watch Netflix sometimes. Okay. Usually it's before I go to sleep. I turn on the TV, I put a movie on, and it helps me
relax.
Go to sleep in
Oh, really? Yeah.
maybe 15 minutes.
Do you actually fall asleep while watching things?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. My oldest sister does that all the time. But she only falls asleep if it's a really good film. If it's a bad film, she stays awake. If it's a good film, she falls asleep. It's funny. I know, it's funny, isn't it? Okay, well, cool. I know you've listened to a few episodes of the podcast. I don't know if you've heard me do this before, but we just do a little game. I think it's quite fun. So, yeah, I'm going to just read a synopsis, a description of a movie or a series, and we'll see if you can get what film or series it is.
Let's see.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. So, okay, this first one, it's a movie, and it's an old movie. Okay, so the synopsis is: 15 years after murdering his sister on Halloween night, 1963, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital and returns to the small town of Haddonfield, Illinois, to kill again.
Oh my God!
Yeah, not a nice one.
Like a joyful movie.
It's a classic horror. Are you into horror films?
No, I'm not. I'm not sure I've seen this one, but if I am to take a guess, I would say Psycho.
Oh, I think it's not, but it's of the similar-ish era, or a bit later. I think it's a bit later. It's had another clue. It's had a lot of sequels. It had a reboot recently with what's the main actress in it? I can't remember. And a new one has just come out in the cinemas in America of the series. No. Should I tell you?
Yeah, please.
Okay, it's Halloween.
Oh,
Halloween. It's quite good, the first one. No, that's okay. Don't be daft. No, okay, so the second one, this is a series, by the way. Okay. So a small-time American football coach is hired to coach a professional football club in England, despite having no experience coaching football.
Oh, my God.
This is a lot more modern. This one is on Apple TV. Have you got Apple TV?
No.
Okay. Should I tell you what it is? It's if you don't know, you don't know.
No, I don't know it. So
don't apologize. It's my fault asking difficult questions. So it's Ted Lasso. The series is called Ted Lasso. It's really good, by the way. It's so good. Really funny and life affirming. It's really funny. Okay, so 0 out of 2 so far, Mihai. It's okay. So quite a lot of people have got none right, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
So I shouldn't feel bad. Okay.
No, not bad at all. And it's my fault for asking obscure, difficult ones. So are you ready for you? Are you okay? Yes. Are you ready for the final one? Okay, cool. So this is an old movie as well. Like it's really old. Okay, but it is a classic. Okay, so the description is: an angel is sent from heaven to help a desperately frustrated businessman by showing him what life would have been like if he had never existed. It's a kind of Christmassy film.
I've seen this one. I know it's something with Christmas in title. Maybe I can't remember the title.
I'm awful with titles as well. But
I've seen it. Yes,
it's cool. It's got the word "wonderful" in the title.
Wonderful. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, that's it. Yes. Boom.
Ooh,
nice.
Thank you for the hint.
Oh, that's okay. You knew it. It's just hard getting the title. That's a beautiful film, isn't it? I love that.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I really recommend that. Everyone, especially coming up to Christmas. Oh, it will be Christmas soon, which is a weird thing. This year's gone really quick. How has this year been for you? After 2020 and not being able to shoot much, have you had a busy season this year?
Yes, it was like a regular season. It was after last year. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, not too busy with editing. You've been okay.
Oh, I'm busy editing now, but that's how I usually am.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Towards the end of the season, I'm always busy editing. I hate editing, by the way.
Oh, do you? Yeah, I'm not a massive fan. Culling, I think culling is the worst.
Yeah, culling too.
Do you ever outsource your editing, or do you do it all yourself?
Oh, no, I do it all by myself. Maybe I should outsource it.
I tried about 5 years ago, and it was okay for the first couple of weddings, but then it went downhill. So I just do it myself now as well. So.
Yeah, it's better to do it yourself always, I think. But it takes a lot of time, and it kills my passion.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. Do you listen to music or have Netflix on when you edit, or do you?
Well, sometimes music, not Netflix. While I'm editing, no, never. I sometimes put some, documentaries and things like that, things that I can listen to.
Okay.
I don't have to watch the screen, to look into the screen.
That makes sense. I never understood it when some people say they watch Netflix or edit it. I'm like, how can you do that? I don't get it. It's a skill. If you can do that, that is a skill. But I even randomly, I find it hard even having music on when I edit. I know I should be able to have music on, but I just find in silence I can just work easier, I think.
Yeah, most of the times I do it in silence also, yes.
It's sadder though, isn't it? It's sadder. We should be able to listen to music, but I just find it distracts. Mihai, I like this quote from your TIR bio, as I feel the same way as well and work the same way. And you say, I try and be as unintrusive as possible when shooting, although I'm not a fly on the wall. On the contrary, I like to stay in the middle of the action, working close to people with my wide-angle lens. So yeah, can you tell us more about that, how you like working close? I'm similar as well. I love shooting close. So.
Yes, that's how I work. My main lens is the 16-35. Cool. I use it all the time. Sometimes I use two cameras. I have two cameras on me, one with a wide angle and one with either an 85 or a 50, depending on the situation. But most of the times I only have one camera and one lens, and that one lens is the 16-35. And I like being close to people. I know now with the pandemics and everything, we should be at least 1.5 meters away, but no, I'm not. I'm always wearing a mask, by the way.
Oh, are you still? Yeah.
Yes, I am all the time.
What are the current restrictions in terms of kind of weddings and at the moment in Romania?
Well, currently you can have weddings with it's a limit of people, but I'm not sure it's 100, 200, something like that.
Okay.
But the rule is that everyone has to have the green certificate.
Oh, right. Okay.
Vaccinated or to have had the
proof of a negative test. Or yes. To have that. Wow. And all guests have to show that, do they, to attend?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Those are the rules.
Okay. And do the guests have to wear masks as well, or not? Do they not have to?
If it's inside, everyone has to wear masks. Not when they're sitting at the table and eating, of course.
Right.
But,
okay.
When we are inside, no matter where we are, we have to wear masks. But of course, nobody does.
Right. Okay, I understand that.
At a wedding, I mean, nobody wears masks except for me, the photographer, and maybe the catering staff and yeah.
Right. Okay. I get that. It's just in case anyone's listening in the future, some people in the future, sorry, but some people listen to episodes later on and stuff. So just to say, this is being recorded in October 2021. So just in case they're interested. It's different in England at the moment. So for weddings, people don't have to show any kind of vaccination proof, and they don't have to wear masks or anything. So it's funny how things are just different, isn't it, all around the world.
But you somehow surpassed the fourth wave.
Well, we don't know. I don't know. We're going to see what's going to happen this winter, I guess. I think their methodology was to open up in the summer more. So then if there was another wave, it wasn't so bad over the winter. But I guess we'll see. We still have a massively high rate of cases. It's like about 40,000 a day, I think, at the moment. So
we are in the middle of the fourth wave too. We are the number of cases is growing every day. So yeah, it's terrible.
It is mad, isn't it? But sorry, let's go. Yeah, going back to you working close. I mean, I'm the same. I love to get close. I think the images are so much more intimate, and we can anticipate moments more, can't we, when we're physically close? I think.
Yes, it's true. And I noticed one thing in my first years of doing wedding photography. I wanted to work like this, but I was always scared. I was scared that people would notice me and act differently, because I'm there, which I found out later it's not the case. They tend to ignore you just as much as if you were in the opposite corner of the room.
Definitely.
And I was scared that they might find this weird, awkward, to have a photographer with a camera right next to them, which is not the case most of the times.
It's true, isn't it? Definitely. As you say, they treat you just as if you're on the other side of the room. They get used to your presence, and
they get used to you, of course. And if you are, I don't know, if it's the first part of the day, you're at the getting ready. I talk to people. I don't act like I'm not part of their event or something. If they ask me questions, I answer. I make jokes, things like that.
That's
I
cool.
try not to interfere with the event. I try not to conduct things in a certain way or things like that. But I do talk to people. And that's how I manage to stay close and be accepted, and they keep doing what they do, and at some point they don't even notice you.
That's so true, and you're right about talking and being friendly and answering if people ask you questions, because that makes them become at ease with your presence of being so near.
It's true.
If we looked all kind of gruff and serious and didn't say a thing, then I think people would be more. They wouldn't want us to be so close to them if we were like that, I think.
Yeah, it's true. If you go there and try to be like the professional photographer who is, it's.
I agree.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No, I agree 100%. And you said you kind of wanted to work that close from the beginning, but you were a bit nervous, a bit scared. Was there? Did it come a point? Yeah, I understand that. Was there a point where you just went for it then and went close? How did you break that kind of fear?
Well, at some point I decided I should try that. Maybe I should try to overcome my own fears and limitations and try to do it. And it was right about when I was ready to make that move, that change in my in my approaching shooting. I attended a workshop with Win.
Oh, cool.
And he somehow validated this
kind of approach of getting close. And
yes, the thing that I wanted to do, he showed us he does the same thing, and I was like, okay, that's the way to go.
That's cool. I get that. Yeah, I get that. Was that a workshop in Romania, or was that a Fearless conference?
Yes.
Was it in Romania? Oh, cool.
It was in Romania, in Bucharest.
Cool. Have you been on many workshops?
Oh, I've been on quite a few, yes.
Cool. They're great, aren't they?
I wouldn't say many, but I try to go to at least one or two conferences a year and maybe a workshop. Yeah.
That's cool. Did you speak? You spoke at a conference recently, didn't you?
Yes, I have.
Cool. How was that? Was that wed camp? Is it or something?
Yes, at wed camp in
Cool.
Mama.
How was that experience? Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it very much. It wasn't the first time I was on stage, at a conference, but I liked it a lot.
Were you presenting in English or?
No, in Romanian,
Okay.
which was good because I'm not that good at English.
No, your English is amazing, man. It's so good.
Thank you. But it's easier when you speak in your own language,
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Always easier.
Are you nervous when you do conferences and things like that?
All the time. It kills me. I have a fear of speaking in public, and when I first spoke at the conference, it was in front of, I believe, 300 people, something like that.
Oh,
350. Wow. And when I went on stage and saw all the people, I was like, I want out. Can I go out? I have to speak.
I get that. It's horrible, isn't it? That feeling. I get feeling nauseous, and it's horrible.
Yeah, true.
But doing stuff like that, things that scare us, it is good, isn't it? And I do think good things have come from doing that.
And you have a good feeling when you know that you overcame your fears.
It's true. It's so true. Even just recording the podcast each week, I get nervous about doing, but then I love it when I'm doing it. So it's it's a funny thing. Whenever Mihai, this is a question I wanted to ask, but because whenever I see your name, whether it's on Instagram or when you've won an award, a certain image of yours always comes to mind, and it's also a Reportage Award. It's one of the girl kind of bending backwards. Do you know the one I mean? I just think that image is so synonymous with you in my head. Whenever I think of your name, I think of that image. It's such a strong, almost symbolic image of you, I think. So yeah, can you tell us about that shot? Do you remember taking it?
Actually, it's funny because sometimes you see, I don't know how to say it. Sometimes you see the potential of an image. Maybe you start from the composition, you start from the light, and then wait for things to happen. This was not the case. It was not the case with this image. This image was moment driven, if you will. I saw the little girl dancing, and I took the shot. It was I took a lot of shots, and this is just one of them. I think it's the peak moment, if you will. But it wasn't an image that I thought too much about it beforehand.
Sure.
I think when these kind of images happen, somehow we are on autopilot. We, the composition and what to include in the image, what to leave out, these are operated on autopilot. You don't think about them, but then when you look at the pictures, you see, I nailed it, or I should have, maybe shot more tightly, or on the contrary, more widely. But that's about the whole story about this image. It was her that did all the
work, but you still captured it. You were there and captured it, and you realized this is a great moment to capture. So that's a skill in itself. And then realizing afterwards.
Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. No, you go on. You go on.
I just wanted to say, when this kind of things happen, I see them, I go, no matter where I am, I go near the action, right there, and try to compose it a little bit and shoot. That's
And it's great, and you nailed it. And it's it's something about that image which I just really love, and it just makes me smile. And I think it's a really cool capture, and it's a beautiful black and white as well. And just realize it's a skill in itself to look back at images and to to realize the potential in them and get the potential from that file as well. So. Yeah, it's all great, man. I love that image. Honestly, I just always think of that image when I see your name. It's cool. And yeah, if anyone's listening now, do head to the site, thisreportage.com. I'll include that Reportage Award that Mihai just spoke about on the post. Let's change tack again slightly, Mihai. Well, actually, it's a big change of tack. A very random question, because I like to throw in a few random questions. But do you prefer sleeping or eating?
Interesting.
I bet you've never really thought about comparing the two.
No, I never. I think if I am to choose, I would go for sleeping.
Really? Yeah. I think I also. We go to bed really early, so I'm normally asleep by about 9:30. Really, I think. Yeah. How about you?
Oh, I go to sleep late usually.
Oh, really? What, like midnight-ish or later?
Or later.
Really? Wow.
Later.
What time do you get up?
7:30 in the morning.
So I
don't get much sleep.
You don't get much sleep. Oh, that's why you want to sleep. You don't get much sleep.
Yes. I think that's why I would choose sleeping over eating. Yeah.
Oh, I love to have like 8 or 9 hours. Man, I love sleeping. It's great. Love it. Anyway.
And it's healthy.
Yes, I guess that's true, isn't it? It's true. Do you go to bed late? Do you work kind of late in the evenings? So do you edit in the evenings as well? Or
I always work better during night. Right. And in the mornings, I'm like, I get up because I have to prepare kids for school, and things like that. But I'm not that productive in the morning. Never.
I get that, though. I get that. Mihai, another random question, but if you could hit a rewind button now and go back like 10 or 20 years, would you do anything differently? No, that's a big question, isn't it? It's a big question.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm quite happy with my life, the way it is.
Great.
And I believe I wouldn't change anything. No.
That's great. That is good to hear.
I embrace it with all the goods and all the bads and all the mistakes that I've made and everything and all the growing, and I wouldn't change anything.
Well, that's cool. That's a great attitude to have. And I think that links into what I read again about you on your bio. And you say you're extremely optimistic, which I think is great.
It's true.
Have you always been like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's something that defines me.
That's cool. That defines you. Oh, really? That's great, man. I love that. Yeah. I guess I'm optimistic too. I think so. Yeah. It's a good way to be. Have you always been like that then since as a kid? Were you like that even?
Yeah.
That's good. Any reason why, do you think? I don't know. What makes someone optimistic?
It's a personality trait.
Yeah.
It's something that comes from within. It's not I don't choose to be this way,
Yeah, it's just something that
it's not a conscious choice.
That makes sense, but it's good, isn't it? I'm like you. I am optimistic. My wife worries about everything all the time, and she's she has quite insomnia from that, really. But luckily, do you not worry about things?
Well, I do worry about things sometimes, but I think we can get a great life advice from Monty Python. Always look on the bright side of life.
That's true, isn't it?
That's kind of, if you want, my motto, or it could be my motto.
That's
always
cool.
Look on the bright side of life.
That is cool. And that's actually, that just reminded me now, I've totally forgotten about this, but when I was like 9 and 10, after we'd played sports at school, football or rugby, and we were and we were changing afterwards, our PE teacher always used to play that song, Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, in the changing rooms. That's really funny. But yeah, he used to play that every week.
It's a thing that sticks to you. Once you hear it once, you can't forget it.
That's true, isn't it? It's true. Do you know what? I've never seen the films like Monty Python and is it the Holy Grail or something? I've never seen any of those.
It's from Life of Brian, actually.
Oh, is it from Life of Brian? I've never seen any of those though. Never watched any. I should.
You should.
I should. Mihai, let's go to some business side and in terms of marketing, getting yourself out there. What's been the most effective for you in that way, and getting clients?
Well, first of all, I suck at marketing, promoting, and things like that. I should be better at it, but I'm trying to be better. But
I get that.
At the moment, I really, really suck. And that being said, I believe what works the best for me is referrals from past clients and from colleagues, photographers.
Oh, okay, so from fellow photographers, that's a big deal, isn't it? Getting recommended by them.
Yes, I don't know if this counts as marketing, but it's what works best for me.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I think I would still class that as marketing. And is that being referred by other photographers? Has that just grown like organically with you,
Yes.
being friends with other photographers? Yeah, and that's a great way. That's really cool.
Yeah, we don't offer commissions or something like that.
Yeah, that's great.
We are a group of photographers who share the same principles, the same vision, and when we get an inquiry and we're not available, we recommend each other.
That's so good, isn't it? Yeah, that's so good. And I think a recommendation from another photographer must carry a lot of weight, I think, for a bride and crew.
Yes, I believe.
The photographers that you refer and recommend, have you met them in real life as well?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Is it a friendly scene in where you are in Romania? Friendly scene with other wedding photographers?
We are a beautiful community.
Oh, that's cool.
Have
you got many like physically nearby you? And so, did you say you're in Bucharest? You said that.
Yes, I'm in Bucharest, and we have a lot of photographers here in Bucharest.
Right. Okay.
We get to meet from time to time, at different events or for a beer or something.
That's so good to do, isn't it? It's so important to physically meet our colleagues, I think, because it is quite a lonely job when we're just working all season and we're at other people's parties, but not our own generally, and then we're inside editing. It's really important.
It's true.
To do.
It's frustrating sometimes.
It's true.
Have all the weekends for work and
And you mentioned that you have kids because you said about getting them ready to school.
I have 2 kids.
Oh, cool. How old?
9.5 and 11.5.
Ah, cool. Okay, great. I've got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, so yeah, not too dissimilar. But how do you find then, because they're at school all week and then we're away at the weekend shooting, it can be tough that way, not seeing them that much as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm fortunate enough to work from home. So I'm all the time I'm with them, with my kids.
That's true, isn't it? As soon as they're back from school, we see them. I guess we see, in a way, then we see them more than a dad who has a regular kind of 9-to-5 job. I guess we do.
Yes. It's true that we are not 100% involved all the time because we have to work. We are home, but we have to work from home. So sometimes I'm caught in my work, in my editing, in my writing emails and things like that. And but just the fact that I'm there for them all the time, I think it matters a lot for me and for them.
Totally agree. Yeah, I do totally agree. Mihai, it's been so cool talking to you. Really enjoyed it. It's been great.
I enjoyed it too.
Oh, awesome. We've got time just for one more question. That's okay.
Okay,
so it's quite a big one, but I'd love to hear from you about this. So I know, let's throw in big ones and little tiny random ones. It's all good. But yeah, Mihai, what in your opinion makes a good wedding photographer? What makes for a good wedding photographer?
What makes a good wedding photographer? I should know this one.
Yeah, because you are one. You are.
Well,
no, it's tricky when
I'm not sure I'm a good photographer, but I am a wedding photographer at least.
You're really good, man. You're really good.
Thank you. This question is a bit too broad because you can be a wedding photographer and have and not embrace this reportage style,
Definitely, yeah. No, I like that it's broad. It's just whatever you think, really. Doesn't have to be about reportage at all, no.
Well, that's the thing that I'm not, I don't necessarily think that if you are a photographer who does who is not a documentary photographer, I don't believe that they are not good photographers.
Oh, no, definitely.
Some of them are insanely good.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's harder to answer the question when you put it like this.
Well, we could say just what makes a good documentary wedding photographer then, if that
should be easier.
Okay,
what makes a good documentary wedding photographer?
Yeah,
I believe it's being able to catch the essence of that wedding that you're shooting, being able to show in images how it feels rather than what it looks like.
How do we do that, do you think?
That's the ultimate goal. Yeah, it's hard to do it. And it takes practice, I guess. It's not something that you can do, I believe, when you first pick up the camera and go to your first wedding and say, okay, I'm gonna shoot in I'll have a documentary approach and not conduct things. And I think that's not enough to be a good documentary wedding photographer.
No. Yeah, it's tricky to say how you really get those kind of to capture the soul and the essence of it. I totally agree with you. That is what makes a good documentary wedding photographer. Totally. And I guess it's different ways of capturing that essence. I think a big part for me, and I guess it is for you as well, is working that close. That does really help.
That's the only way to show the actual vibe, of the event.
Yeah, definitely. Cool, man. So interesting. I really enjoyed talking to you, Mihai.
Yes, I enjoyed it too. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being on here. An honor to talk to you. And hopefully I'll get to meet you one day in real life. That would be lovely.
Let's hope so.
Oh, it'd be fab. So, and Anyone listening now, as I say, head to thisreportage.com. I'll include the Reportage Award that Mihai spoke about, as well as that image that had a lasting impact that he took from his very first paid wedding. With 400 guests, I can't imagine having 400 guests on my first wedding, man. That is awesome. Proper. Oh, scary. Scares me now, the thought of having 400 guests, I think. So, yeah. Man, thank you. And I hope, have you got many more weddings to shoot now the rest of this season?
No, I don't have any more weddings.
Oh, that's good.
This year.
Nice. I've only got one more as well. Can have a bit of downtime now. Cool. Well, you stay well, Mihai.
You too, also.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the 90th episode of the This is Reportage podcast. Mihai was so interesting to talk to. Hope you enjoyed listening. Head to thisisreportage.com for a link to his website to see the Reportage Award he spoke about on the episode too, and also the image that had a lasting impact on him. We now have 90 episodes of the podcast available, where we speak to wedding and family photographers from all over the world, delve into our back catalogue to hear from the likes of Sanna de Block, Els Corsten, Sam Docker, Stephen Hairshaft, Ross Harvey, The Framers, Nicola Smirnich, Lisa Winner, Rowena Meadows, Julia Rose Grime, and many others too. If you're not a member of This Reportage or This Reportage family, check out all the benefits of joining us, including an unlimited number of images on your profile, 60 individual award and 18 story award entries per year, invites to our physical meetups and parties, including our upcoming Christmas party in December 2021, exclusive discounts, hours of educational videos featuring tips and advice from some of the world's best photographers, and much more. Submissions are open now for our final award collections of 2021. The deadline is the same for both our wedding site and our family site. Submit by 23:59 GMT on 23rd of November 2021. No poses, nothing staged. This is Reportage. And this is bye for now.